Is it a struggle? Yes, we have to realize our strengths and our weaknesses. Hi, and welcome to YYNet Show, and I'm your host, Janice. Our goal here is to help others to reach their goals by providing inspirational, interesting guests that will motivate you to also reach your goals. Today's topic is laughter multiplied. We have three wonderful guests, or shall I say, 2.5 wonderful comedians in the show. I like to introduce them. Anavar Salgado. We have Bob J. and Michelle Krajewski. Welcome to the show. How are you guys today?
Great.
Great.
Now, your comedy group is called 2.5 Comics, but we're on video Zoom, so we can't tell who's the half.
And some shows, it's not necessarily based on height.
Oh.
Sometimes it's just based on talent, by the way.
Oh, okay. So for height is Anavar, so who's the talent? Okay,
Well, that would be me again. I reserve the right to that one, too.
Okay. So I assume you got the group title because of the 2.5 based on your height. I love it. I think that's great. Now, what do you guys do? Do you guys do individual sets or do you just combine? I know they have some types of troops that are, what do they call it? That they're going together at the same time. So tell me a little bit about your group, Anavar.
Well, Michelle and Bob and I met all the way back around 1987 or 88 when we were both starting out in stand-up. And we did a couple shows together. And then we kind of lost track of each other, but then we reconnected again. Michelle came on board through Bob when we were booking a show at a bar called, I believe it was at Shanahan's, and Bob said we should get Michelle in here to do the middle act, and we just had a really super nice flow, and it was the epitome of a show. In other words, we each did an individual set. But at the end of the night, it really felt like an entire show. And that's what we really liked about it. The flow was just right. You know, we started, got a little funnier and got more funnier. And then we wrapped it up at the end. And it's worked out really well. We've probably done 5 or 6 shows together now as 2.5 Comics, even all the way out in Sandwich, Illinois at an opera house, which was just a blast. So that's how it all came about.
Okay. Now, Bob, you do impressions versus, I know stand-up is still part impressions, but what do you mean by impressionist? I'm not understanding.
I do impressions of famous celebrities and cartoon characters. So like if you're watching King of the Hill, I would just all of a sudden go into, well, I'll tell you what, it sure is a cloudy day again today. And the stupid Cowboys still haven't gotten anybody worth a dang.
Oh, wow. So impressions, you actually change your voice also. Now, do you just do people or do you do sounds?
Sound effects too, and cartoon characters. I also can mimic a lot of instruments.
Oh, and
we have a contest going on right now, Janice, that's very important. We want to know how many people out there can guess how many phone books is Anavar sitting on in order to be seen on the screen.
Wow.
I'm going to guess 5.
5?
You can't play.
Yeah. And it's funny because I was going to actually put in a picture of me and Anavar, one of the shows. I took a picture with him, but I'm actually shorter than Anavar. So yeah, he's definitely sitting on 5. Definitely sitting on 5. I know how many I'm sitting on.
They are suburban phone books. We don't want people to think they're the old Chicago ones, the 3.5 inches one.
Right, the big ones.
Yeah, these are the suburban 1.5 inches.
Have you seen the size of the phone books that are coming out now? They're microscopic because everyone uses technology. So now you're probably 10 with those.
It might be 10.
Yeah.
So Michelle, you are the female of the bunch, and you're in the middle. So I guess you're in the middle from height also. So how does it feel how does it feel with two guys, working with two guys?
I grew up with a brother, and I just I get along very well with guys. I've been on the road with guys. I'll go someplace and do a show, and I just I've always gotten along with guys. And like I said, I have a brother, and so I don't that kind of guy talking and hanging out and that kind of stuff. I kind of just fit right in. I'm very comfortable.
Feeling very comfortable. That's good. Because a lot of troops that they have, you might have a woman, but it'll be like an all men group or something like that. Do you guys also do improv? I know at the end of your individual sets, you guys get together. Is that more improv at that time?
It would be, yes. It would be. We've done it. We don't do it every show, but we've done it a bunch of times where we've come back on stage as a trio. And one time we did just did an old-fashioned joke-telling session where we went for about 15 or 20 minutes, and we each took turns just telling jokes. And then we asked the audience if they wanted to, somebody had a joke that they wanted to tell. And another time we recreated a game show, the match game. That would be more improvisational.
Okay.
And there's a difference between an improv group and what we do, because we are specifically, and I'm speaking for all of us, I hope that's okay, but we are specifically stand-up comedians, which is different than improv in that stand-up comedians they're there by themselves. Mm-hmm. So it's on you to make the audience laugh. When you have an improv group, the biggest difference to me is that you can not be funny as long as the guy next to you picks it up on the next line and is funny, and so on and so on. Where with us, we have I usually do 20 minutes. Michelle will do 35, and Bob will usually do 40 to an hour. And it's us. It's just us. So when we get a chance to come up at the end, it takes a big load off of that part of it, because I can say something maybe isn't so funny, but Bob can jump on it and expand on it and make it funny.
Okay.
So that part's really cool. And we're all pretty good at improv.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how hard is when you do individual sets, there is a main person that's like the show head. Help me with the terms, guys.
Headliner.
Thank you. That's what I'm asking for help. So, Bob, is Bob the headliner then?
Yes, I would say Bob is the headliner, and Bob can expound on that and tell us why he is.
Yes.
Expound. Is that something you get at Home Depot? What the heck is expound?
It's like silly putty, but it comes in a bigger can.
Just tell us. Expand on it. Expound.
I got a hole in the wall. I got to put some expound on there. Can you tell me what aisle that's in?
I would think as a headliner, they're both. You're waiting the whole showdown. Their acts have to blend into yours, and if anything goes wrong, we have hecklers in the audiences. So if their show is bad, now it's all falling on you. Or even for them, they have to beef you up, have the show absolutely spontaneous. So when you get on the show on stage, everyone's already riled up and they're expecting spectacular, because Anavar was spectacular, Michelle's spectacular. So you have to blow them out the crowd. So how does that feel, having that weight on your shoulder, or did I just put on your shoulder and you didn't realize it?
What show did you see that Anavar was spectacular at? That's what I want to know. No, you know what? That's the problem. A lot of comedy, it's an ego thing, and they think like, oh, well, good, this guy's blowing the crowd away. I don't want him not working with me anymore. If you got somebody like Anavar's opening the show, he's got the hardest bit of it all.
Oh,
he's taking a bullet for all of us. I mean, he's going up there totally cold. And a lot of times when audiences go in, they go, the first person's not going to be funny. They're already in their mind. They're going, the first person's not going to be funny. So he's got the hardest job. He sets it up. Okay. Then Michelle goes in and she does her job too, which is awesome. She sets it up a little bit more and she gets them laughing. For me, I mean, if they got them rocking,
right.
It's easy. It's nothing, it's just a walk in the park. And that's how our show is. It's just all bang, 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 bang.
Oh, great. So you line it up perfectly. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the hardest spot is being really in the beginning. So Anavar, you also do emceeing as part of your beginning of your individual set also, correct?
Correct.
So how is that for you being the first one up on the stage and then people know you're the half?
I know we're kind of backwards. We're kind of half and two in a way. It's like Bob said. It's the first guy comes up. A lot of times, people when you get introduced as an MC, people don't assume that you're a comedian. They just assume you're an MC.
Right.
So I think what we have going with this particular show is that we are really funny. We're all funny, and we get funnier as the show goes on. So I come up and my job is to welcome the audience to if the place we're at has any announcements they need made at the beginning, I do that. And then I do maybe 10, 15 at the most 20 minutes of material that hopefully gets the crowd in an atmosphere of wanting to laugh. That's my job. And then once I have them there, then I bring Michelle up, and then Michelle, her job basically is to take them up. And then if let's say Michelle just gets a standing ovation at the end of her show, then my job would be to come back up and maybe try to bring the crowd down just a little bit, so that when Bob comes up, they're kind of settled a little bit, and then Bob takes them back up again. And our show, I want to say, I believe that our show does that beautifully. I think that the flow of the 2.5 Comics show, every time we have done it, has been funny, funnier, funniest, and that's what you want. You want that flow, and I actually really enjoy being an MC because it gives me an opportunity to talk to the audience, which is another thing that helps Michelle and Bob. Is if I already know where the married people are, then they don't have to ask that question. If there's somebody celebrating a birthday and I find that out, then they can use that if they want to. If they choose to use it, they can use it in the show. There's a bachelorette party, whatever. Mm-hmm. So that's part of my job. I mean, it's a little bit harder because you're coming up cold. Mm-hmm. It's much harder in a place that is not necessarily a comedy club. It's easier in a place that's established as a club because people come to a comedy club. Their mindset is we want to laugh. When we've done bars and bowling alleys, and people don't necessarily come to laugh, and so we have to reel them in. So my job is kind of to reel them in, and then Michelle hooks them, and then Bob pulls them in the boat.
Okay. Well, I'm biased. I've seen your show and I think it's hilarious. So I'm very biased. I think it's very hilarious. I enjoyed the show, and I did almost fall out my seat for a couple of you guys. You too. It might have been for the drinks, but no, you guys were very, very funny also. So Michelle, now, how do you bring your show into the mix in the sense that Anavar is warming up the audience, plus he's doing a double job as being the MC. Bob is the headliner with his impressions. How do you feel bringing in the mist? What audience, you're targeting the whole audience, but how do you feel on your part as a part of a trio or 2.5?
Well, actually, a lot of people in the biz say that what I do, the middler, is actually the sweet spot because I am more of a joke writer. So we have different strengths. So Anavar is very good with people. I mean, he gets in there and he's able to do crowd work and get him relaxed, and that's what you do, invite him to the party kind of thing. And then I'm able to go there and I'm more of a monologist. Is that, I guess, the best way to put it? So I can, it frees me up to do my act. I'm not, I don't play a lot off the audience. Like I said, I'm a joke writer and I've got like my solid material. So I'm able to do that. And my material is totally different. Anavar's got the more hang loose. He does a little bit of a rap thing going on, and he's got a different vibe. And then I come up and I do my jokes. I mean, I'm like I said, I'm a joke writer at heart. And so that's my, so I do a solid set, and then Bob does the impressions, and it goes back to, it's a whole different thing. I don't think anybody could follow Bob, actually, if you've seen Bob, because once you start doing impressions, he's told me one time, the bells and whistles. I don't care who you are. You can't follow Bob, because once the audience is, I don't know how many times he's had to stop because people are clapping and for impression, whatever. But anyway, so what I'm saying is, though, as far as what I do, it's a lot easier for me, and I really enjoy it. I think I'm at a really good spot in the middle.
Yes. I mean, I love all of your shows, and yes, I do agree Bob, there's sometimes I saw the show once before and I'm like, I wish he would just pause because I need to catch my breath from the laughing, pick myself off the floor. And it's like, please stop until I am ready again. Okay, I'm fine. Now you can continue. So yes, great show. How did you guys just decide to come together and do this? Because there is real harmony in there. And I think a lot of comics, they struggle like doing it on their own. So how did you guys decide to come together? And is this better for you guys versus being individual trying to go up there, that you have a complete package? Because that's what you guys are a complete package. You have something for everyone and it just works so smoothly. It's spectacular. So how did you guys come about putting the package together? Anyway.
Yeah, he started it. Yeah.
Oh,
I was going to defer to Bob on that one. I think Bob would have some good thoughts on that if he wants to go first.
No, I think you should go first. I think the one thing that really works about our show is that we are basically all three headliners. And that really helps. We have faced all different types of audiences. So we know pretty much, when we first get there, we're already scouting the crowd, figuring, okay, this table could be trouble. This is going to be this. This is going to be this. And we appreciate everybody's show. We don't, like when Anavar's on, Michelle and I aren't back getting a pizza going, how much longer is he going to be up there? It's more of we watch his show. Everybody watches everyone's show so they can know what's going on. So can pick up, like Anavar says, you can find out who's the trouble. Okay, stay away from that table, or boom, we need to hit that table more so they shut up. But yeah, that is the main thing, is that we've been in the business a while and we know really how it works. And I think that's why it flows well. Because a lot of times you go to comedy clubs now, these guys that are booking, I don't know what they're thinking. They got the MC is doing just nothing but pure filth. And then you got a clean guy afterwards and he's dead. The audience loves it. And we respect each other's talent and we know what we can do. So there's not, when you see our show, it's not going to be like, oh, that's what Anavar was talking about. Oh, that's what Michelle was talking about. It's all different ways. So they're just going to be like, oh my gosh, yeah, I can relate to that. And then the next person comes out, oh my gosh, yes. And so it just, like Anavar says, it just builds and builds.
I think it helps that we like each other, because I think we can.
I was going to ask you guys all friends, because it seems like you have to have a good, not only business relationship, but a friend relationship. You have to have it.
Yeah, no, you have to
Bob
kind
saying, no, you're not friends.
No, Bob's just messing with you. He's messing. No, I think it helps to, if you like each other and trust each other. A lot of times when you go to a show and you don't know who if I'm opening for someone, or if I'm middling or somebody's going up before me, I don't know who that person is. And that's okay, because that's the whole, that's what comedy is you show up, you do your job, you do the best you can, you read the room, you try and work with the other comics so that the audience, the focus is always on the audience, gets the best show they can. And sometimes if you have to eat a joke because somebody did a joke before you, or you have to rearrange, that's where the professionalism comes in, where you've been doing it a while and you kind of understand how to do that. But the problem is that sometimes in shows, it's really, I'm sure all of us can, we can walk out of the room and say, oh my gosh, that was so difficult. And it didn't have to be, because maybe the person who went up before you, like Bob mentioned, was totally filthy and it was the way it was booked, and maybe the room is set up wrong. But so it helps that we trust each other. And like Bob said, we respect what we all do, but then we also like each other. I think the likability thing comes across in the show too, as well, because people sense that we are. It's kind of like we want them to join in the party.
Okay.
I agree with that. I think I would add a couple things. One is that we are not in a competition. Mm-hmm. When we do this show together, and that's what's nice about this show, is that we tend to book our own ourselves, so we know what the flow of the show is. Sometimes a booking agent, maybe they kind of know what a comic does, but they don't necessarily know. They just know that this guy's in the MC box, this guy's in the middle, and this girl's in the headliner box. And so they put the show together. They don't really know if there's a flow there. We know there's a flow, mm-hmm. because, again, we're not competing. We're pushing for each other to do well, number one. We really, really like each other a lot. and we play off of each other, even if it's Bob and I play off each other more than Michelle and I do. But Michelle has also, when she does marriage stuff, I do marriage stuff. She makes a note of something I would have said about my marriage, and then she'll tie it into. She'll say something about her marriage and say, well, of course, at Anavar's house, his wife, and the audience likes that. In fact, you can watch the audience look around at each of us when we're interplaying with each other and see if we're laughing. Right. Bob and I have a standing bit, and it just kind of happened where I told him, I'm going to introduce you as Bob J, but I'm going to say, I'm Puerto Rican. So in Puerto Rico, he would be Roberto Hey, because J is pronounced like a H. And he picked up on that and went up. After I said that, he said, oh, what's with the hey? And I said, well, in Spanish, the J's are pronounced H, like Jose. And he said, oh, that's why I saw you coming from your hob in Joliet as a janitor. Now, the audience just died. And that's the connection, I think, that we have, that sometimes comics in a show, they either don't want to connect with the comic ahead, or they don't feel comfortable connecting with the comic ahead, or a lot of times, and I'm sure that Bob and Michelle have felt this, they stay in the green room during the first comic show. The headliner doesn't come out until the first two guys are done. Well, now you don't really know, you don't have a feel for the audience and what they like, what they don't like, and what that comic has said, where we, like Bob said, I go up, they're watching me. Michelle goes up, Bob and I are watching Michelle. Bob goes up, me and Michelle watching Bob. And if he throws stuff back at us, then we can also, again, interact with him from the audience perspective. If he says, anybody ever been on a cruise and nobody raises their hand, well, one of us could raise our hands. And then Bob can make a joke about it or say, well, yeah, of course you were on a cruise. You came here illegally or something like that, which gets a big laugh from the crowd. and again, connects the show into a quilted piece of fabric that's connected. Even though I do ethnic humor, I do observational humor. Michelle does, humor that maybe is more relatable to women. So she's got that part. And then Bob comes up and he does his show, but he always remembers to connect us in there somehow. Even if it's just one little thing. Right. I think it makes a big difference. Because again, we've all worked with comics that they're A to Z. And I tell, when I MC any show, I tell them, the two comics, I say, look, if you guys want to hit on me about my height and I'm Puerto Rican, I love that. And sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. This show, I think, hits on all cylinders because of the likability, the interaction. And again, like Bob said, we could all do 45 minutes, but we are willing to be the what's the word in sports? We're willing to be the player that knows the role at the moment. Right. I know my role, Michelle knows her role, and Bob knows his role. And so we're okay with that. I'm okay with doing 15 minutes. And that's okay, because I know that the whole show is going to be good. Right.
You just gave some wonderful advice for any of our audience that's interested in becoming a comedian, is like working for others. And what I felt in my heart when you guys were talking about that, I think of God when Jesus just wants us to work together and be in harmony and peace and love. And that's what I feel when I go to your shows, that you know that everyone is connected. The three of you are connected, you're friends, and you care about the success of someone else. And it's not all about you. It's about everyone else, your group members. And I just love that about all three of you, how well you do work together. And I feel that's what it is. It's that love for each other and caring that it's not about, I got to take the stage. Everyone is taking the stage. We're a group, a family. Just love it, love it, love it, love it.
Yeah, we connect off stage a lot too. We text each other, or we call each other. We were concerned about Bob a while ago, and just Michelle and I were texting him almost every other day. This isn't just a show. It really isn't. This is a connection of three people who are comedians first, but we're comedians second, I would say, and we're friends first. Again, I go back with Bob to I want to say it was 1988 when we first met downtown at the Funny Firm, and then Michelle's been at least 4 or 5 years now that we've been working together before we came up with the concept of 2.5 Comics.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think that's it. I think we're friends, and I think that makes a huge difference.
Yes, I do believe so. I do believe so because you guys have a great, great act, great show. You guys are just wonderful people too. Just love it. Love all of you guys. Couple more questions. We're almost done. Whew, that just took me. I just love hearing that because that's motivational. I mean, just you see all these comedians, they go up there, they say, like you said, the raunchiest jokes and everything else. Try not to do the other one. It's just getting, more and more gross almost and just humiliating. You don't hear about the other person blending in the next person. And to me, the way to advance yourself in life and any career is helping others.
Right.
Okay. Do you guys have any shows coming up soon? Do you guys regularly? I know it's COVID happening, that shows closed down. And I know, Bob, you're recovering from that, from catching COVID. Praise God that you are here and looking well.
Thank you.
Yes. Do you guys have any shows coming up soon? I know you guys go all over the country.
We're doing Subway, Walmart, and Walgreens in a couple of weeks. We're doing a whole, we're going to stand outside while people are getting their COVID shots.
Yeah, the COVID tour. Right.
Yes, exactly.
The COVID tour. Yeah, get your shots at Walmart. Yes.
We are talking with, I have been talking with the owner of Shanahan's and the guy that manages Tivoli Bowl. And I think Bob may have talked a while ago to the Opera House people down in Sandwich. They wanted us back, and then COVID hit. So we're working to get this show off and running. We'd like to get this show going, I think. And we do individual stuff too. I mean, I did a show recently in Frankfurt, and Bob, I think, and Michelle's done some virtual stuff. So we're still going to continue to do stuff individually because you can't survive in this business without it. But we would love to get a sort of a little mini tour of this show going.
Right.
I think we have a lot to tell people. And again, motivationally in terms of how we react with each other. Mm-hmm. I think that's really, I think at the end of the show, you really do feel that as an audience, that we connect.
Right. And I am going to display any websites and emails that people can contact you for your upcoming shows, or if they want to book you individually, that information will be up there.
And Bob's photo is always, if people are interested, Bob's photo is always at the lobby of the post office.
Yes, so you can always find them at those pictures at the post office. We have about a minute and a half left. Bob, what's your favorite impression you do?
Ozzy Osbourne.
Ozzy Osbourne. Okay.
I gotta do like this, like the face and stuff. What Ivar said, is what he said. I totally agree with that. Something, that's what I say.
That's what you say.
Right. None of us said that's what we said,
Ozzy.
What do you think, Sly? I was really impressed to be here, being interviewed. Apollo, I didn't know you were a woman all this time. It blew my mind away, what I'm saying?
No. You did quite a few. And sounds, we get 45 seconds. Can you do one sound for us?
Oh, jeez.
A train.
I'll try to do a train real quick.
Okay. Wow, that was great. Thank you.
Welcome.
Well, that's unfortunately it for our show. I love you guys. I want people to check you out, and hopefully they will come and see your show. Best of blessings. I'd love to have you guys back on the show soon. And for all my viewers, this is 2.5 Comics. Please, you can decide which one is to have. Check them out. You can check us out on YouTube and also on Facebook. And we are seen in about 9 different states. Thank you very much and have a wonderful, wonderful, blessed evening. And good night.